Hi guys, thank you so much for coming back to see me, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Whitney and I am an online fashion reseller. I sell mainly on sites such as Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and Depop, and a soon-to-be professional organizer specializing in organizing for small, mainly home-based reselling or retail businesses. If you're interested in my organizing videos, I shoot every Wednesday or post every Wednesday, and that's called When It Works Wednesdays. And if you're just here for the reselling videos, those will be every Saturdays, and that's Smith Amina Saturdays. So now that I got all of that out the way, let's get into today's video. I know we have a new background again, temporary. I'm just in the quote unquote man cave or Chris's office. He's downstairs right now and my son is sleeping, and his room is like right next to my office, and I do not want him to wake up. So I am here today, and it was hard trying to get comfortable set up here, hence all the pillows, because this is a deep couch. Anyway, so now let's get into today's video. So speaking of what I just said, today's video is basically on the struggles of being a stay-at-home mom entrepreneur or mom business owner, or because it's a little bit different if you're just a work from home mom that you work for somebody else. So mainly mom business owner. I want to talk about like 5 different struggles that one may go through, me speaking for myself, and 5 tips or ways that you can try and overcome those struggles, or at least help make the process a little bit easier, because it's almost impossible to fully overcome it, because you're still going to be a mom and you're still going to have to work unless you just stop working. So I want to talk about that today. So let's start with the struggle number 1. I have my notes here, so if you see me looking down, that's the reason why I want this video to be a little bit more structured and not so rambly. So have some talking points. So first struggle I would say is the work-life balance. And basically it doesn't exist. Okay, I won't say that 100%, but in a way it's depending on, I'll say, what your home business is. It's hard to have that balance. Like for me, in my case, being a reseller, I'm on my phone a lot during the day, because obviously there's people who make an offer or make a comment. You got to respond to try and make the sale, or they ask you a question, or for measurements, or like all the little things that could happen at 8 o'clock in the morning down to 8 o'clock at night. And it's, in order to make the money consistently how you want to, you can't just be like, all right, I turn my phone off at 6 o'clock every night. And if that's the case, if I turn my phone off at 6 o'clock I just got an offer on eBay now and I'm distracted. But it's hard to turn off work for this particular business. Granted, it doesn't take as much as your time, depending on, I guess, what selling apps you sell on, but it can be hard, and that is hard on everybody in the household. Yourself, myself, the child or children, the boyfriend, fiance, husband, whoever you're with, or wife if you're a husband, but whoever you're with, it's like hard to balance it all out, make time for it, not always be on your phone, like all those type of things. And one of the ways I try to combat that is to like schedule out how I want my day to be scheduled, like make a to-do list or like work and time blocks. So for reselling specifically, all the elements of it in a day, you might have to take pictures, edit those pictures, list what you just took list the item you just took. In between that, you have to create a description and a title. Might have to do research to figure out the price. It's share your closet, follow people, whatever, all the Poshmark things specifically, or Depop things too, because you have to like bump on those things too. But on that site too. But doing all of those things all in one day, every day, because reselling is an everyday thing. It's not like you list 100 items one day and you just let it go for the rest of the week. Like for most reselling sites, you have to be on a consistent listing, consistent interaction, consistently going on the site every day in order to get the sales that you want to achieve every day. So for me, I like to create a schedule or like to-do list, mainly a to-do list, because trying to do a schedule with how my life is, I'm not going to stay on schedule. It's just not going to happen. So I like to do a to-do list of the things that I need to get done. And specifically, I like to do stuff in batch work. So take maybe 20 pictures at a time. That's usually around the amount that I take. Take about 20 pictures at a time, and then edit all those pictures at the same time, take all the measurements at the same time, create all the descriptions at the same time, research all the prices at the same time. Like I like to do everything in batches so for instance, Monday, I'll list those 5 out of the 20 items. Tuesday, and I'll create a draft too. That way it's already ready. Tuesday, I'll list all of those 5 items. Wednesday, so on and so forth, so that it's less work that I'm doing each day. So it's not like I'm taking 5 photos each day, listing 5 items each day separately, taking 5 measurements each day, taking, doing 5 descriptions each day. I'm taking like one chunk in a day and doing as much as I can in that first day, and then having it and then spreading it out through the rest of the week until I have to do it all over again, basically. So that's how I kind of like to have a work-life balance. If I have to, check a measurement or, answer a question or whatever, that's easy, that's fine. And as far as sharing my closet, I do outsource that. So thankfully I don't have to do that myself. But you have to be able to take chunks and do it all at one time, and then try and spend time with your family once everything is done. So that's one way. I feel like I rambled so much on that, so forgive me. I'm going to try and not do that for the next 4. Second one is mom guilt, and mom guilt being because you may be working too much. So I would say with mom guilt, which I know a lot of people have, I feel like I don't deal with it too much, but it's enough that it's just like, But I say with that, you want to just create pockets of time to spend time with your child. Like my son, he's 2 years old right now, and he doesn't really talk, like he understands us, but he doesn't himself talk too much. Like he'll say words and stuff, so it's not like a lot I can say to him that he'll like fully understand, and it's just like, go ahead and play yourself. No, he wants me to play with him, or at least be in the room while he's playing. So it's just like random times that he'll just pull me away, and I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to eat. Like it's always when I noticed that when I'm trying to eat, I'm like, I'm trying to eat, and then he pulling me towards his playroom to go play. But a lot of times what I'll do if I'm working or something like that, I'll go over with him in his playroom, play with him a little bit, and then once like we kind of play a little bit and then he starts to veer off on his own, I'll grab my phone up and start listing more items and doing what I need to do. That way I'm making sure I spend time with him. I'll try to like put my phone down and actually play with him and show him that I'm engaged. Yes, he's 2 and he probably don't understand, but I also don't want to create that habit either. So when we're playing together, I want to completely be off my phone, and then when I notice he's kind of veering off to do his own thing, I'll stay in the playroom with him and let him play while I get back on my phone and do what I have to do. Or like during his nap time. ignore that. That's for another thing. Um, Also, if you have like an older child, like I said, my son is only 2, so I can't really explain too much to him right now that he'll fully understand. But if you have an older child, try to explain to them what you're doing. Like, tell them, okay, mommy has to work from this time to this time, or however you do your work and whatever, like however your time frames are, or your pockets of work time are, whatever. Explain to them what you're doing and why you're doing it, and telling them that, like, if this was a regular job, I wouldn't even be here to play with you. So I do need a little bit of time to get some work done because I have to make money to provide for you. And so can you please just give me a little bit of time, and then such and such a time frame try to give them, and then say I'll play with you after that, and then really try to stick to that and commit to that, and don't break that promise. Even if you don't promise it to them, you still want to hold yourself accountable to them and actually do what you say you're going to do. Next thing, it always feel like there's never enough time in the day. And that encompasses everything. So it feels like you're never getting enough work done in a day. At least that's how I feel. When I hear people saying they list 30 plus items on Poshmark a day, even the times that I don't have my son, like he's with his grandparents, and I had the whole day to work, there's no way that I'm listing 30 items a day. I don't understand it. But it also includes stuff like making dinner and breakfast and lunch, spending time with your significant other, spending time with your kids, chilling for yourself and relaxing, cleaning a house, like all of that. Everything feels like there's never enough time in the day because everything in your day is like smashed together in a way. It's like hard to separate the work from the home in a way. So it just gets muddied a little bit, in my opinion. So the way I try to kind of combat that is either at night. I usually do it at night, and if I forget, I'll do it in the morning. Within my to-do list, I'll try to prioritize 3 main things that I want to get done. Whether that be 3 main work-related things, 3 main house-related things, a mixture, whatever the important things are for me that day to accomplish, I want those to be front and center and known, and I want to try and get those done as early in the day as possible, if possible. And that just kind of helps me. It brings me at ease in a way. It just makes me feel like, okay, if I don't get anything else done on my to-do list for the day, if I get those things done, then I feel like I've accomplished today. I feel like I've succeeded today and I don't have to do anything else. If I feel tired later on, if I want to just hang out with my family later on, I won't feel so anxious and feel like I can't really fully relax because I still haven't gotten such and such done, which is like a big such and such or something that was important to do that day. Let me see if there's anything else I had about that. Nope. Okay. So the 4th thing is always getting pulled away to do something, which is, like I said earlier, I get pulled by my son a lot. Like, he just takes my hand and pull me. I can't wait till he can talk. But usually, like, he'll pull me away to do something or bring something to me. And before, I was always resistant with it because I'm like, I'm doing something, like you have me all the time, and let me just get this done, and then I'll come and do whatever you need me to do. But what I kind of started doing now is just letting him pull me and go where he want to go and play for like a short amount of time, so 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll be like, all right, I have to go back now, and do what I have to do. And he might cry or whine or something like that. And I'll like just put on his cartoons or give him an apple or like something that I know kind of soothes him. And that pretty much helps me for the most part. But I'm trying to get out of like not allowing him to have access to me, if that makes sense. Also, lately he's like a lot of times will bring me a book or like his flashcards. He freaking loves his flashcards. And the my first thought in my mind is like, I can't do this right now. But then I'm like, he's asking you to read to him. Like he's asking to learn, basically. Why would I not do that? So I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and look over these flashcards and read the words and the pictures and stuff on the flashcard. And we'll probably do that a couple times before he get bored with it and go. Or if it's a book, I'll read the book once. Usually a book is like one time and then he'll run off and go again. So I've been feeling really good about myself, I'm not gonna lie. Because I feel like I'm succeeding as a mom. At least in small certain areas, here and there. But that's kind of how I started to do that now. I feel less, it kind of ties into mom guilt too. I feel less guilty now. I feel like I'm giving him some time. I'm showing him that he matters and all of those things. And it just makes me feel better. And it also makes me feel better when I do have to say no, because I started to say yes more often. And the last thing is feeling overwhelmed. That's probably one of the biggest ones. When you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are single or not, it's very, very, very easy to feel overwhelmed. And that's regardless if you're running a business or not too. But when you do run a business out of your home and you're always home, it just gets overwhelming a lot. And for me personally, like I'm a homebody personally, so I don't have to be out and about all the time. Like going to work is not as big of a deal to me as staying home. Like it's not a stressor, but there are certain things within my home that needs to be right for me to not feel overwhelmed. So the last tip for how you can combat that is, for one, don't overexert yourself. Don't try to squeeze so much in one day. Like I know for myself, I oftentimes try to do a lot in a day, and I've started to reduce my to-do list on a daily basis so that I don't feel like there's so much to do. Like right now, it's only like maybe a maximum of 8 that I'll put on there, but normally like 5 to 6 items I'll put on there. But yeah, so don't kind of overexert yourself. If you gotta sit down and just watch TV just to feel at ease, do it. If you have to take a nap with your son or your daughter, your kid, I have a son. If you like, a lot of times I put him to sleep, like he's not at the point yet, but like where I could just put him in the room and he falls asleep by himself. So oftentimes I'll lay in the bed with him and I'll sometimes get tired and I feel guilty when I fall asleep, guilty for myself when I fall asleep with him, because I feel like that's valuable time I can be using to actually get stuff done. But sometimes my body is just saying, just relax, just go to sleep. Even if it's for like 30 minutes to an hour, just take it and then get up, refresh yourself, get refreshed and then get back to what you had to do. But probably for me, one of the biggest things that helps me feel less overwhelmed is having a clean house. Mess just stresses me out when I look at it. So now I understand how you feel, Mom. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But I understand, Mother. But usually when there's like a lot of chaos going around, a lot of mess around in my house, it's like my brain cannot function to get other stuff done that are important for me to get done. So I usually try and take if gets out of hand, and I'll take a day and try to clean up as much as possible. But for me, the main areas of my house that like needs to be clean almost all the time for me to not feel overwhelmed mentally are my kitchen and the living room and my master bedroom, all because it's all on the same level. It's all on the bottom level, and that's the level that I'm at most of the day, so that I'm looking at most of the day. Even my reselling room tends to get messier than I would like it to be, but because I'm not in there for long periods of time, I usually save that for later down the line. Oh, he found me. He woke up. Chris is downstairs. I think he'll try. I think he heard my voice. If I go to him, he's not going to want to go with Chris. So I have to let him find Chris downstairs by himself, and then he'll stay with him. Because other than that, it'll be him coming back up here all the time. Thankfully, I'm almost done this video. Where was I at? Cleaning. Yes. Okay, so yes, so I don't clean like my inventory room is usually mostly always cleaned for the most part. It's like the area where I like take the pictures at and do all my folding and my measurements and stuff like that. That tends to stay messy longer because every time I clean it, it just kind of gets back crazy again. But that as although it bugs me, it doesn't bug me as much as when the kitchen and the living room are a hot mess. So I cleaned up my house a couple days ago, and I've been trying to just like make it a priority to keep it that way so that I don't have to spend valuable time where I could be working on cleaning. But with that being clean, like I just feel so like calm and at ease. And when I go in the kitchen to make something, especially because now I'm trying to lose weight, it's already hard enough trying to figure out what to eat. But now that the kitchen is more clean and zen and beautiful, I feel like I want to chop up some vegetables and, make a nice little pretty cup of a fruit salad. Like, it just makes me feel like it's like meditation. But yeah, so whatever that thing might be for you to help you feel less overwhelmed, like visually when you see it, or whatever the thing may be, do that and try and commit to maintaining that throughout each and every day. Don't let it get to a chaotic situation and then get it back up again and then let it just fall back to chaos again. Try and maintain it that way over time. It just becomes a natural part of your routine, and then you'll always feel at ease and zen, and you'll get more done and therefore make more money and all of that good stuff. But yeah, definitely it's not easy being a stay-at-home mom, and it's even harder being a stay-at-home mom who makes money out of her home. What I am thankful for is his age right now in our current situation with the pandemic. I'm so thankful I don't have to deal with online learning. I applaud all the parents who are having to deal with online learning, who also have to work from home now and deal with that at the same time. Like the stories I hear from like family and even non-family, it sounds exhausting. It sounds just hard. So I am extremely thankful that I don't have to deal with that extra layer on top of what I already deal with. And I'm also thankful that Chris has been doing his part as well. He's great with C3. I just wish he liked him more. I wish C3 liked him more. He's still in that I only want to be with mommy phase. And certain pockets of time he'll spend with daddy, but when daddy wants him, he'll still try and come to me. It's like, I feel bad for him. he be making Chris feel like chopped liver. I swear, It'll get better. But yeah, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of people can relate to it. You'll probably see in the next When It Works Wednesdays video, if you happen to watch that y'all gonna have to have grace for me in that video, because my son is all up in and through that video, just climbing on the table in my lap, and it was no other way. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. how it has to be done. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for coming back, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I think that's my first time remembering to state that. And I'll see you in the next video, either on Wednesday or on Saturday. Bye.